Hey all, Hiba here. Today we are taking out the Yamato here, and I want to show, anyone who's interested really in how much damage you can actually tank in one of these things here. And you might notice that I'm joining up with 3 other battleships here from the beginning. I just want to point out that that's because C is usually the cap that's the hardest for the team to take. So I usually head to C if I'm in a battleship and I start here in the middle. It's not because I don't want to back up the others at B, but I think that the fact that there's 3 battleships over at C, it's just, they need help. So that's why I'm heading over there. Anyway, let's have a quick look at my favorite Yamato build here. And I'm using Kondo on the ship because I like to make this a tough one. So I have extra range and extra reload as inspirations, and then crisscross and firefighter to make it as tough as possible, really. Master mechanic as well gives me an extra 2 repair charges along with will to rebuild. So honestly, you can hold out a long time in this ship if you can just avoid getting torped on the broadside. You should easily last a whole match. And let's have a look here. 22-second reload, almost 17 range. So that's quite good. It's hard. It's rare I shoot at ships at more than 17 kilometers away anyway, and then the accuracy goes out the window anyway. So I prefer to have a fast reload on the ship here. So here we are again, back in the battle. So I wanted to do this video because I experience so many times, pretty much every game, especially at legendary tier, as soon as a battleship gets fired upon, or it takes a nasty hit, loses 10,000 hit points or something like that, they panic and either they rush in and obviously get torped, or they show broadside and try to escape or do some other like weird thing that just ends up with them getting citadel from across the map and just gets wiped from the game in a matter of a few minutes. So I wanted to do this video here where I'm actually just tanking damage the whole game, basically. I'm also dishing out damage, but as you'll see in a minute, the whole red team has discovered that there's a CC on the blue team, so they're all gonna congregate over here at the C spawn. And obviously I can't really head in here. I would like to, but there is a destroyer in there somewhere, and no one's spotting, so I'm not really sure what I can expect in there. And you can see the Reds are actually doing better here. They're actually entering the cap, and they are like taking the initiative and keeping us out. But you see, the moment I get spotted here, everybody at the middle of the map, they are heading over here to this side of the map, and they are obviously shooting at me. I happen to have a player on the red team who also messaged me after and said, well, that was an interesting battle. And I'm saying, yeah, well, sorry, but that happens a lot when the whole red team gets CC-itis and just focuses on a known player. And just like Spartan says, I mean, that's a good thing, because that means they usually make mistakes. So I don't really mind. Well, obviously I do mind, because sometimes it makes the game very boring for me, especially in this instance here where I can't really do anything. I'm gonna be sitting in pretty much this position here the whole game, because there's simply just too many red ships over here and not enough other ships to spot. But if you notice how many hit points I actually spend in this game here, you will also understand how much you can actually tank damage in these battleships here. I mean, that is a battleship's job, to tank damage and also obviously to dish out damage. And the best way to do that is in a position like this where you're protecting your broadside. Like here, yes, I am vulnerable to torpedo attack, but I can see the destroyer, and it's a cap, so he needs to be within 6 kilometers of me to actually be a threat, and that's going to be difficult. So I'm not really too worried about that guy. Instead, I'm just gonna pretty much drop my anchor here and just try to keep the Reds from overrunning this flank here. And of course we lost the Conqueror there that rushed into the cap. And that's pretty much my point here. Just, you know, stop and think. I mean, in battleships you have plenty of time to think. Like when you're waiting for your reload, look around and look on the map and, you know, formulate a plan of attack. You see the Yamato over here, he's doing the exact same thing. Like we are both angled onto each other. So yeah, we can shoot at each other, but we're not gonna do a lot of damage. I was pretty lucky there, I'll admit that. The Khabarovsk trying to set me on fire, but I'm bow on, and I will get like fires lit, but he's doing like 600 damage a pop or something like that. It's really nothing. And 1 fire, 2 fire, 3 fires, it doesn't really matter. You just wait till you have 3 fires, and then you know, put them out, and then you perhaps you heal a little bit as well. See, I just spent a heal there, getting back up to about 80,000 hit points, and then we get another fire there. And like, this is what I mean when like some battleships players, they panic in a situation like this, and they just end up doing stuff that will cost them their ship, and usually in the end will cost the flank as well. As you can see, I'm the only one still sitting point here, and there's lots of red ships around me, and you can see they're all just waiting for me to reverse out so they can get at my broadside, which obviously I'm not going to do. I'm just going to sit here, and I don't have any other targets than the Yamato, so I'm just going to shoot at him, and he's doing the same thing to me, so it's kind of boring. But I mean, I'm not worried about dying or anything like that. I still have about half my health left, and I'm gonna have a damage con in less than 10 seconds and another heal in about 20 seconds. So I can sit here all day. As long as no one torps me, I have no problem at all. So in a minute you'll see me pop a damage con right now, although there was only a few seconds left of my fire. But that's because I was expecting this Cap here to smoke up, and of course when he smokes up, I'm gonna go undetected. So I just didn't want him to set another few fires before he went undetected. So that's why. Unfortunately, I'm still detected by the Yamato, so it didn't really work out exactly the way I wanted this one to do. It was a gamble, but it didn't work out. So I just use another heal because I have plenty of heals in this build here. And it looks like the Cap is moving in for a bit of a torp attack here, so I'm just reversing a little bit. But I'm not panicking, I'm not reversing all the way out, because I'm looking at the map at the same time, and I can tell that if I reverse out, I'm gonna get citadeled by pretty much everyone. So it's better just to, you know, stay here where I have my cover, and I can make like life pretty miserable for anyone who's trying to take this Cap here. Unfortunately, the Cap is red. Now, this would have been a better situation if the Cap was blue, but as you saw in the beginning, we only had 4 battleships over here on this flank here, and there's just no way we can even make it into the Cap fast enough to actually cap it first. I mean, the Reds started with a destroyer, so that's obviously a major advantage there. There's the torpedoes, and just keep another eye on the map here. You can see all the red ships, they're just sitting on the other side of this island here, and they pretty much left the B cap all alone, and my team have been able to take that. So at this point I'm thinking, well, this is actually working out pretty well, so I'm just gonna keep sitting here. I do have another battleship backing me up, and he's taking fire right now, and that means that it's quite hard to attack me from the other side around the island. Otherwise I would probably have been attacked already. But because he's out there in a pretty good position, he can cover me, and I can cover him from anyone trying to push in from the other side. And then of course the Cap is trying to torp me from this angle now, and I was expecting that. I was just waiting for him to come around because I saw him go through the Cap and come out on the other side, so it's just a matter of time. So that's why it's so important to keep an eye on the map when you're in battleships. It's actually the most important thing in any ship, but especially in battleships. And like I said before, you have so much time to study the map and study the Reds when you're waiting for your reload in battleships. And and I'm just going a little bit too far forward there, so we'll reverse back. Like I said, there's no excuse for not checking your map, because you have a 30-second reload on most battleships, and there's plenty of time to have a good think about what your next move should be. And generally, any panic move in a battleship is a bad move, and you are going to get eaten alive, basically. So you see here, both the Yamato on the other side of the cap and myself, we've been sitting here shooting at each other for 10 minutes. 10 minutes! And none of us are really, well, the Yamato is low on health, but he's not in danger of dying yet. And that's because we're bow on, and we are just, taking the approach of how can I do the most damage and receive the least damage in turn. And this really should be a one-shot kill, this one here. But I only get one citadel because all the other shells fall short, which is a really annoying thing that's happening in this game here lately. But anyway, we're gonna get this Minotaur here with the next salvo, but obviously he has fired torps. And because the battleship that was backing me up, he's sunk, that's why this Minotaur can get away with this stuff here. So that's pretty much the end of my battle here, and I just get the high caliber here in the last second. And I only take one torpedo, and I'm very close to surviving there, but I'm out of heals, and there's really no way of surviving that one there. But as I said, the whole point of the video is that you can tank like insane amounts of damage in your battleships if you just do it in like a proper way. Set yourself up in a spot like I did, where you're really hard to wrestle out, and if you have other battleships covering your other flanks, it's even better. And that's also one of the reasons that all CCs pretty much in this game here tells you to spread out in your battleships. 2, 3, 4 battleships sitting in the same square is usually not a good thing. You need to create those crossfires, and that's just something you can only do by looking at the map. And sometimes when you're in a battleship, well, you get the short stick, and you are destined to be the damage sponge. And in this battle here, that was me, and that's fine. I mean, as long as you play the cards you're dealt, you'll do well. If I had rushed into the cap, I would have died. If I had reversed, I would have died. So you got to play the best way you possibly can in the situation at hand. And that is really the one thing that distinguishes better players from worse players in this game. It is like they have situational awareness. They look at the map, and they know how to position their ship so they can take the least amount of damage, and like I said before, at the same time do the most amount of damage that they can. And I'll admit I probably didn't do as much damage as I could in this game here, because I had that Yamato across from me, and he kind of kept me from getting all my guns in action, or peeking out and whacking some of the red ships that were sitting to my north, which is a very good play by that guy. I mean, that's the battleship play. They're pretty much the rooks or the bishops of chess. Like they can move really far, and they can cut off areas of the map completely if you position correctly, and if you look at your map, and if you plan your movements ahead, and if you look at what the red team is doing, and what you can do to actually make their situation deteriorate. And well, it's a skill that only comes with practice, and I can't really tell how to do it because every battle is different. You just have to do the best you can, and usually that's great. So that's the way to go, really. But I'll just reiterate again here that taking damage in a battleship is a good thing, as long as you're not getting citadeled because you're not positioning correctly, or getting torped because you're rushing in. Then you're doing something right. And of course, don't reverse all the way back, please. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you out there.